Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Julia Mann. I'm also known as the Habit Fixer, and I love working with women over 50 who want to enjoy amazing health and well-being and self-confidence. And I do that through EFT, which is a tapping technique, life coaching, nutrition, skincare, and digital products. And I'm ever so excited because today I'm joined by a man called Tim Rock. And if you haven't met him before, you really will love what he's got to say. So he is a business development consultant, and he does a lot of things. And I can't wait to hear from you, Tim. I believe you're going to talk about habits in small business, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Fabulous. So straight over to you.
Thank you. We'll attempt to. I mean, it's a big subject, isn't it? It's a big topic. Um, and I did actually, I just like everything, isn't it? You look up the definition of habit. We think we know what it means. And of course we know what it means, but it's always good just to remind ourselves. And the Oxford Dictionary says something that you do often and regularly, sometimes without knowing you are doing it. So how do I apply that to business owners? I speak to lots of business owners in my job, and they are sort of startup businesses, small businesses, and bigger businesses, SMEs generally. So anything below 249 employees. And I guess I'm just using a few examples today, really, of sort of some habits, some good habits and some bad habits, because which I think is worth pointing out, really based on talking to hundreds and hundreds of business owners. I've got about 5 habits I'm going to talk about, and I'll probably go straight into it and
Fabulous.
see. We'll wing it a bit and see if anything sticks or not. But it certainly resonates with me. So the idea is I can sort of get that across in some sort of educational or helpful way to try and get others on board as well.
That's
Um,
perfect.
so habit 1, I've numbered them 1 to 5 because it just keeps me in order. Um, is that habit, I think, certainly of a sort of startup, smaller businesses of I'm all on my own. And that's a big responsibility when you're juggling lots of different things in running a business. A lot of people I talk to, they've generally stepped out of the corporate world to do it themselves. And whilst you might be very good at marketing or very good at sales, or you've excelled in what you do in the corporate, but when you jump out, you are very much on your own. And there's all these other things you've never really considered or thought about. And it's a lonely place. And I think the habit 1 is don't be on your own. Look around. There's a lot of resource out there, a lot of people who can help you, and you don't need to sort of suffer in silence. And one example is sort of networking, isn't it? And that's comes with a myth, doesn't it? That you mentioned networking, and then people think it's about sales. You do networking to sell things, and you don't. It's not just for sales at all. And it's about support. And I tell this endlessly to people, but actually it's about being in the same boat as people like yourselves and people who are a bit further on in their journeys, so people who are a bit behind, and actually sharing the experience, learning, helping, and just actually having that community of people who understand what it's like. With your help, aim really of sort of helping you to overcome those battles and to give you guidance. So and you and me, we both know only networking and how supportive that can be. So really, that's just that habit of don't be on your own. Look around and talk to like-minded people in the same boat. And also that it's just about engaging and contributing, isn't it? It's not going on trying to sell something and leaving. It's about getting involved and helping others and let them help you as well. That leads on to habit 2, which is about engaging and contributing and helping people. And I personally like to help people, probably above and beyond the FS. I do some work, the FSB, above and beyond that. And whilst it's great to help people, it's nice and they're always grateful. But it's about being memorable, isn't it? We speak to lots of different people, and small business owners will speak to lots of different people. And we're then busy after we've spoken to people, and we forget, don't we? We have a habit of forgetting. And I think if you can make an impression on someone and be memorable, there will be a stage, and I have people contacting me sort of 2 3 years after I've spoken to them and said, oh, we did talk. And that's always nice, isn't it? Because we do a lot of marketing, don't we? And we sort of think, oh, is that falling on deaf ears, or they're not ready to go just yet? But it's nice when someone can remember a conversation you had 2 years ago and they come back and say, I'm ready now, you know, or I've so it is being memorable because you don't want to be forgetful. Okay. Um, and about helping others. There's another habit comes with that, doesn't it? Helping people. And some people have a bad habit, and that's a habit of taking. And I say this really, so if you're going to give, and you should give, and giving's good, and it all comes back round, but do actually set barriers sometimes because people can take advantage. They don't always know they're doing it, but it's their habit of taking and not giving back. So just to manage those expectations sometimes probably isn't a bad thing, and it just protects you really in the end when you've suddenly done too much helping and then no one's helping you. And that's not a good place. So avoid the people who have habits of taking and not giving. Habit 3, this is about cutting corners, isn't it? We've talked about all the things, juggling all the balls all the time, and it's easy, isn't it? If it's not in the moment or it hasn't affected you yet, just think, well, I don't need that. We'll just sort of just forget about that. You know, who needs legal stuff? Who needs compliance? Who needs to worry about GDPR? It's I'm selling and marketing. And I would say you need to get the habit of actually dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I give you an example of someone I helped the other day, and it's the same old. You run a business and you get clients, and it's really good, and they all pay, don't they? All the clients pay, and this was a person who had a paying client, and it was a retainer client as well. And that's a good habit, isn't it? Retaining clients, people who pay you every month, and you do work every month, and you haven't got to go and get new clients every month because the same ones you've got keep coming back. That's a wonderful habit to have, a retaining client. But anyway, this client, for whatever reason, stopped paying. Maybe because someone didn't pay them. We never know. And especially at the moment, it's quite topical. Anyway, they stopped paying and then started quibbling about the retainer and what it involved and what was expected from each party. But of course, it was a verbal arrangement, wasn't it? Nothing had ever been written down, which leads to difficulties because both sides thought different things. And that's really why we have things like terms and conditions or some sort of contract where you manage the expectations, it's agreed mutually, and it really should avoid any arguments. But anyway, they couldn't resolve it. Nothing was written down. And not only is a client lost, but also some retained business as well. About £1,500 a month just sort of gone because of his habit of saying, it's fine, nothing will go wrong. It did go wrong, and it could have been avoided. And again, people sometimes cut corners because they think it's expensive or they haven't got the money to do the proper thing. I think we need to get out of the habit of thinking there are other ways and other ways of doing it, but you do need to do it because it's an awful waste of hard work when it all comes tumbling down. That brings me on to habit 4, which is making mistakes, isn't it? And making mistakes is good, isn't it? We need to make mistakes in life. I'm not saying we don't need to make mistakes. But some mistakes are avoidable, aren't they? And they're not all a badge of honor. And I think going back to the last 3 habits I've just mentioned, it's not always a badge of honor. They can be avoided. And again, when you're juggling 10 balls in the air, any mistake, will set you back. So don't be proud of all of them and just sort of go out your way and ask people and avoid some of them. But we need to make some as well. In habit 5, I started thinking about, ways to skin a cat, things like that. But actually, there's another one because that's not on for obvious reasons. And there are many ways to climb a tree. That's the better one, which there is. I say this because certainly in the realms I sort of work in, when it comes to the sort of compliance side, the boring side, the bit no one really understands, they seem to think one option, don't they? It's like, I need an agreement, a solicitor firm. I need GDPR, a GDPR professional. I need HR, an HR professional. Health and safety. And I suppose what I'm saying here is you don't need to do the weekly shop in a chauffeur-driven Bentley until you've made it and then do it. we're saying is there are different ways to do shopping, aren't there? You can walk, you could take a bus, you could ride a bike, you could drive yourself. And now very much comes to this sort of habit of people thinking, I need to go to 5 different people to get 5 different things for my business. And to be honest, that's one reason why they do cut corners and don't always do them, because it can be an expensive way of doing things when in fact you don't need the gold-plated, armor-plated car. You can do a bit yourself. And that's really just to think, if you've got costs and coming out, can I do it? Can I speak to people? Ask my network, are there other ways of doing things rather than just what you think everyone else does? And as a small business, that's important, where there aren't necessarily lots of pennies and money going around. So that is my 5 habits.
Wow.
Done.
Absolutely brilliant, Tim. I love the mixture of habits that you're talking about. And I guess at the end of the day, it's about people enjoying being in business and not doing the things that they don't want to do, and being able to, with someone like yours help, to resource those things quickly and get what they need without spending all that money. So I know that being part of the FSB it's a very small cost, and obviously I'll put all your links below this video so people can go check that out. But what is really great, Tim, about the things that you've said is that what my experience of you is that you walk your talk, that you do all of those things, and that's what I think must make you successful in business. But one of the things that I want to ask is, because I imagine this happens a lot, is that apart from all those skills and things that obviously we don't all have, so we have to really rely on somebody else to do those things for us, is mindset one of the big things that really gets in the way of people building a successful business? Can they do it? Who are they to do this? They've only just started in business when before they worked in a corporate career. How much does that play out?
Mindset, in as much as it's blimmin' tough. It's really tough, and it's emotional as well. Obviously, when you're in a corporate, things are a bit down. It's not necessarily going to affect your pay packet at the end of the month, but when it's your business, it does. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot more riding on it. Therefore, more emotion, more things probably out of your control. Things you can't necessarily blame others or rely others to do for you. So yeah, it's not for everybody at all.
No. And I think actually when we can all get into that pattern of being worried about something, when we focus on the thing that doesn't work, we usually get more of the thing that doesn't work. And it's always about looking for solutions. And that's really what you provide, isn't it? Is solutions for people so that it makes their life easy.
We do, yes, solutions, but also actually just by talking, it doesn't matter who. Again, you don't just actually reaching out and talking to people, whoever they might be, is better than just stewing on your own in the office. Getting and personally, I find actually sometimes just walking away, just leave the computer, come put a washing on, or just do something completely different is probably my main, rather than just getting in more of a stew about it.
Absolutely.
Walk away. And again, as a business owner, you kind of do have, that's one of the freedoms, isn't it? There's not many, people think it's all about, oh, you do what you want when you want, it's brilliant. And in fact, no, you'll be working a lot harder probably than you've ever worked before.
Yeah, with no sick pay, no holiday pay, and
no more pressure on a family. So no, it needs care.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your brilliant habits that you shared today. And thank you everyone else for watching.
Thank you, Judy.